Welcome to the Botanical Arboretum Directed Research Project.
For the past few weeks, we've been working to lay the groundwork to turn a forgotten living collection of rare and endemic trees of eastern Australia into an ecological resource and a site the public can enjoy.
So this living collection consists mainly of the family of laurels. They're also known as the Lauraceae in botanical terms. The laurels are actually a very important component of rainforest habitats in Australia, and there are actually over 130 species of laurels on the continent of Australia. So they are really quite an important aspect of our biodiversity. So laurels are actually very nondescript for the untrained eye. However, they have some characters that can easily be picked up if you start looking at them in greater detail, such as many of them often have waxy whitish green leaves underneath, and many species of laurels also have trinar veins like that. In this living collection of laurels, there are actually quite a number of narrow endemics, or in other words, species that are found in only very small areas in North Queensland. And therefore, this area is a very valuable botanical resource for educators and people wanting to learn more about laurels.
The history of this site can be attributed to Bernie Hyland, a botanist who conducted his thesis in 1986 on a revision of the Australian Lauraceae family. After Hyland grew dozens of laurel trees to study for his revision, former botanist Jeff Tracy and former park ranger Nigel Tucker saved dozens of those samples and planted them in an empty plot of land in the southeast corner of Lake Eacham in North Queensland. 40 years later, the site is now undermanaged and overgrown, largely unknown to the public.
Throughout this project, we wanted to reconnect with the initial goals of Tracy and Tucker, who saw the potential of these trees to become an educational resource for the public and a viable seed bank for rainforest restoration.
The location of our plot is perfect for this goal, being right across the street from Tree Nursery. Here, they work alongside community volunteers to facilitate the replanting of native rainforest species across the Tablelands, a widely agricultural region.
Not only is this plot close to Tree, but it is also just a short walk from the beautiful Lake Eacham, a widely enjoyed recreational area by both locals and tourists.
Since its planting in the late 80s, the years have not been kind to the Arboretum, and without upkeep, the forest was quick to reclaim the land. What was once an organized planting is now unrecognizable. In order to make sense of what remains, our first course of action was to create a map.
Over the first few days of mapping, we had to lay out a grid to cover the entire plot. Just shy of 100 stakes and 2.5 kilometers of string later, we had this grid composed of 64 squares covering 0.68 hectares of forest.
Next, we identified and tagged all of the laurels with the help of Dr. David Tung and Gemma Horner, creating an updated map of all of their positions as well as diameters and heights after 40 years. On the old map, many of the trees' locations were inaccurate, and after all this time, many of them had either died or fallen and sprouted new saplings. After 40 years, this is what the Arboretum looks like now. We were able to re-identify 60 of the 67 species planted back in 1984, including these two very narrow endemic species to far north Queensland.
Arboretum are a very valuable public space because it can make biologists can go there and study trees and rare species for a long period of time. But not only that, arboretums are also very important as an educational tool for people to understand better about the conservation of tree diversity.
For the community outreach portion of this project, we came up with a series of ideas that would make the plot of land more functional to the public, as well as create an educational opportunity to the community for anyone from families with young children to experienced environmental enthusiasts. We believed that with proper signage and correct tools for engagement, we could inform the public about the history that we've mentioned, as well as educate them on the Lauraceae family and the importance of ecological conservation that the Arboretum itself provides.
We took inspiration from existing park signs to put together some signage prototypes using the Canva software. On the welcome sign we drafted, we discussed the ties that local indigenous groups have to the land and provide a brief history of the site. We also give an explanation of the roles of botanical arboretums and of reforestation, plus a map with a guided walking path for visitors to follow. To modernize our arboretum and increase engagement with the public, we hope that future SFS students install some sort of QR code on our welcome sign that's linked to an interactive map for them to explore different species of the Lauraceae family.
Other signs throughout the park will give further education on the 7 different genera of laurel species planted across the arboretum. We also created a prototype for a small species-specific sign that will show the common and scientific name along with just a bit of information on the tree. These signs are meant to be accessible to individuals from non-scientific backgrounds and will promote engagement with the arboretum and education on its importance. Of course, these signs are not yet manufactured, but should serve as a guide for future SFS students to get funding for and to implement at the site.
The importance of this project extends far beyond your community engagement and education. It also impacts the replanting of native flora and the habitat conservation of keystone species in the area, such as the cassowary.
Absolutely. The laurels are a staple family in the rainforest that once covered the Atherton Tablelands, so their conservation is super important to rainforest reforestation.
Yeah, these seeds are also very important to local wildlife, as reforestation initiatives involving seeds from the Arboretum will be used for local wildlife corridors, connecting rainforest fragments across the largely agricultural tablelands.
With only a month to work on this project, our primary goals were to set the foundation for future management and public support of this land.
We hope that visitors of this site will be inspired to support more arboretums in general and to see the potential that places like this have to become sites for restoration.
With continued support, we see a future where this plot can serve as a really valuable and engaging resource for community recreation and education.